Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. We have a special report tonight on Tropical Storm Maria. Let's get right to it. Tropical Storm Maria at its current location is 14.8 north, 58.6 west, carrying with it 45-mile-per-hour winds. And we do see it now moving west-northwest at about 16 miles per hour. That's a very good clip, and that's very healthy for us. That means as it moves, it's going to move rather quickly across the Virgin Islands area, passing us very quickly, so that would allow us to have alleviated less amount of damage. We do see that after it does pass our area, which would be Monday, it is going to be expected to turn into a Hurricane Category 1, but that is 69 hours from now. At this time, we're looking at Tropical Storm Maria passing us by sometime tomorrow evening. We could see bands of Tropical Storm Maria beginning as early this morning after 12 a.m. And we will keep you posted as developments change on this storm and as it moves into our area of the Virgin Islands. Tropical storm watches and warnings are in effect for most of the weekend for our region of the country, as well as we need to understand that there is, as we hear it, a 7 p.m. curfew starting tomorrow night. And of course, now the latest that we're hearing from Tropical Storm Maria, we're going to turn straight to Executive Director of VITEMA, Elton Lewis. Here's a statement he made earlier today.
We just recently got off a press conference with the Governor of the Virgin Islands. During that time, we introduced the Federal Coordinating Officer from FEMA, who is an island in advance of the storm, Mr. Mark Armstrong, and he is a part of the federal response team here in the territory. He has a team of about 20 or 17 individuals. They're equally divided among the district to support VITEMA and the territory as a whole. During the press conference, we also heard from the Commissioner of Human Services, Mr. Chris Finch, with regards to shelter operations and those shelters that will be opening based on the governor's directive. We've also heard from the police commissioner, Commissioner Raymond Hyman, as well as the Executive Director of WAPA, Mr. Hodge, and Commissioner Smalls from the Department of Public Works, as well as Mr. Ken Hobson and the Commissioner of Tourism, Commissioner Nicholson, and the Waste Management Authority Director, Mr. Conwell. Those are key components, key critical agencies within the territory to support the people of the territory in the event that we are impacted. Once again, we're asking the general population to prepare themselves, prepare their family, take nothing for granted, take nothing at chance. It's always best to be prepared, and it's easy to stand down, but it's very difficult to stand up. So I'm asking that they stay tuned to the local legislations, the newspapers, and please, if you have not registered for VI Alert, we're encouraging you to register for the VI Alert. It's one of the key components within the mass notification process here in the territory. So please sign up to VI Alert. You'll get information almost immediately. There will be a curfew that will be imposed. That will be imposed as a part of the governor's emergency declaration, and there will also be a price freeze of all commodities from the different supermarkets, which will be coming or has been from the Commissioner of Licensing and Consumer, Commissioner Bates. The VITEMA Emergency Operations Centers throughout the territory will become operational tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
And we want to thank General Elton Lewis for that statement tonight. Again, we do want to remind all the citizens in the territory there is a 7 p.m. curfew starting tomorrow night. Now we turn to the governor as he made a statement earlier today on the Maria situation.
I'm joined here at Government House by a number of individuals from FEMA and members of my cabinet, and also participating in this call is Director of VITEMA, Elton Lewis, and also the FEMA Federal Coordinating Officer, Mark Armstrong, who are on the island of St. Croix. Let me begin by saying that for the last few days, we have closely monitored the developing storm system that is now known as Tropical Storm Maria. Maria is expected to pass in close proximity to the Virgin Islands on Saturday. first experienced the outer rain bands associated with Maria, followed by the tropical storm winds. Maria is expected to pass the territory as a tropical storm with winds of 45 to 50 miles per hour, and rainfall associated with Maria will total 6 inches, based on the estimate we have now. This is the third event for 2011 Atlantic hurricane season. I'm extremely comfortable with the level of preparedness that exists today as we've built on each event that's taken place. I've met with members of my cabinet, our emergency responders, officials of the National Weather Service, and my senior advisors over the last few days as we plan for the response and the recovery that we'll have within the next 24 hours. As a precautionary measure, I have today signed documentation declaring a state of emergency in the Virgin Islands. The state of emergency mandates a price freeze on all commodities, including food items, gasoline products, issues having to do with building supplies, rebuilding, all items that Virgin Islanders stock up on before the threat of a storm system. Let me be very clear that this is not the time for price gouging or for taking advantage of our community. And the enforcement officers of licensing and consumer affairs and planning and natural resources are ready to take whatever action is necessary with respect to enforcement to ensure that business owners do not use the threat of a storm to take advantage of our consumers. The state of emergency also provides for the imposition of a curfew. Given the guidance that I've received from the National Weather Service, talking with my advisors, I've decided to implement a curfew as follows: 7 p.m. on Saturday to 5 a.m. Sunday morning. While I fully understand the imposition of a curfew, inconvenience that it creates it is a necessary measure to provide first and foremost for the safety of our residents while the storm's effects are being felt, especially in unrestricted access areas and on roads and highways, so that our emergency providers can respond when necessary. After the storm has passed, we will evaluate the state of the territory and then adjust or lift the curfew altogether.
And we want to thank Governor Dejongh for making that statement today. Now, WSVI is going to get straight to the heart of what's happening with Maria. Early this morning, I've had a crazy day today as I got to hop on a ride with the actual hurricane hunters to watch them at work and get an up-close personal view of Maria for herself. Let's take a look. All right, we're just hanging on inside the belly of this WC-130 Hercules aircraft, and we're doing quite well, but we're seeing a lot of turbulence, as you can witness. Where our present location is at this time is out in the mid-Atlantic. We've been going down the chain. We turned near Barbados and are now over this area of the storm. At this time, a lot of the area people here who have been watching a lot of these types of systems before are informing us that this is kind of what they refer to as trash. They are saying that it's very cyclonic. There's no cyclonic activity inside the system. There's just a lot of lightning out there. So this is what they're calling a trashy system. It's carrying with it winds of about 24 to 30 knots. But all these things could change at any minute. The next time they go out, they could witness something that seems a little bit more cyclonic. They're looking for an eye, and they're not able to find that eye. And they're getting ready to launch what they call buoys, which will go down into the system and begin to take rapid pictures of the humidity, as well as the temperature, as well as the speed of the winds that they're surrounded by. Then they'll get a better idea of where that eye might be located. But this time they can't find an eye, and they're considering this what could be a system of not seismic proportions. And that's good news for us in the territory, which means that if it stays this way and it begins to break up, we'll have a much easier weekend than we're anticipating for this coming weekend, when we're expected to see Tropical Storm Maria coming through our area. And when we come back from this break, more of my exciting day with the hurricane hunters. Stay with us.